All right. I think we're live. Okay. So let me just get my bearings here. Welcome, everybody. Excuse me. So I got a message from BeLive that when you guys comment, and I would love to hear you commenting, I'm not going to be able to see them as they come up on BeLive. So what I've done is I have the Facebook group set up over here. Let's just see. So when you do comment, I'll be able to follow you over here. And I know it says I'm live. I think there's a delay because I'm not seeing it in the Facebook group. If you are seeing me live, could you post a comment saying hello and that you see me? And even more importantly, that you can hear me. I was doing a Facebook Live some time ago and nobody could hear me. It was not a good thing. All right, let's just see. Sorry, got something in my throat here. And well, I'm going to have to trust that this thing is going. All right. Yep, I think we are. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm tracking you right now over in the Facebook group. Welcome, everybody. Super happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be talking about this particular subject. It is very near and dear to my heart, and it is soul-centered conversations. Soul-centered conversations. That is the key word. Soul-centered conversations that convert into high-paying clients, happy-paying clients, loyal clients, something that I discovered many, many years ago. You know, I have worked with a lot of passionate, mission-driven, spiritual entrepreneurs and change agents who get into overwhelm because they don't have a clear business model and they're trying different disjointed things. They're hoping some things will stick. So they are not really getting traction and they're not getting their work out in the world the way they want to. And so they're not making the money they want to. And, you know, let's face it, we got into business to make money. Nothing wrong with that at all. The thing is, we want to give huge value. We want to make a difference in the world. And as a result, also make good money. And this is what I love. I love helping folks break through that overwhelm. I love helping them get clear on what works and then laser focus on that. And that says we lay the foundation. What's in alignment with your spirit and your values? Line up with that. We want to get you lined up with what most resonates with the reason you're here doing the work that you're here in the world to do. And what I have found is that when clients are complaining that their businesses have stalled or they're plateaued or it's not growing or it feels like they are what I call pushing a wet noodle uphill going nowhere fast, it's because their business model is either no business model or it's out of control. It's just too complicated. And excuse me, I don't even know if I can mute right now. I need to cough. I don't know how to mute. Bear with me. Goodness me. Anyway, I digress. Oh my God. It's too complicated. That's the whole problem. And when things get complicated, we get scattered and we lose our vision. Or it's because they have the wrong business model for where they are in their business right now. And I just want to say from my experience, and not necessarily across the board, you know, everything has its exceptions. But what I found is if you're not at $250,000 or $300,000 in your business yet, or you don't have a full client base yet, then there are some business models that would not be ideal for you to start with. Things like trying to launch a group program when you don't have more than 3 or 4 private clients. That's just an example. A big one. Developing products, thinking if they will build it, or if you build it, they will come. They won't. There are so many steps that have to come before that. Another one is starting memberships. You know, starting a membership model is particularly when you don't have a really big list, or maybe most of them on your list are your family and your dog, right? That's bad subscription base for a membership, and they don't pay that much. So I just want to say that if you don't have, at least 6 clients, 6 to 12 private clients, you're probably not ready for those models. You're not ready for the groups, the products, or the membership sites. And if you're focused on setting up funnels, then especially if you're looking at things like a $7 tripwire that leads to a $97 something that leads to a $497 program that leads to a $2,000 program or whatever. You don't need all of that right now. You don't need a webinar funnel. You don't need a complicated launch. Now, having said that, I've done all of those things. And everything has its place. But does it have a place for you right now? That's the big question. What I have found is there are 3 essential pillars to accelerate your business success in the model that I'm going to share with you today. And those are, you want to craft a compelling offer that attracts your ideal clients. You want to identify the right lead sources that gets you in front of those ideal clients, and then hold one-on-one soul-centered conversations that convert into happy paying clients. That's it. And one of the things that sets us apart as spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, holistic practitioners, change agents, we are known what are called wisdom guides, okay? And what that means is that those in your divine market, when they're ready to invest with you, they need to feel this deep sense of connection with you. They need to feel heard by you. They need to be seen by you. They need to be aligned with you. And obviously, the higher the investment, the more information they need to make that decision. But in all of these cases, this is why having private, soul-centered conversations is such a powerful, effective, and efficient way of achieving all of that, especially for us. It works really, really, really well for us. And these sessions are much deeper, and they are far more aligned than any sales conversation, okay? I just want you to get this. Soul-centered conversations is a little different from a sales conversation. It's an entirely different approach. This is what has worked for me. This has been my secret for a long time, if you want to call it a secret. It is definitely one of the secrets to my success. And what's so beautiful about these sessions is they work for just about any type of offer you make in your business, even when you are growing your business, even when you start doing the launches and the webinars and the membership sites and all of that stuff. These sessions are going to work in every single case. And these are the primary method for growing almost every single revenue stream in my business. So I just want to check to see, yay, hey, Jack, hey, Betty, I'm having to look over here, people, because I'm looking over in the Facebook group because it's not showing comments. Well, I'm seeing comments over here, but it's not showing who is actually speaking. So thank you. Great to see you here. All right, so you want to really get clear on these 3 things. You want to know who your ideal client is. You want to know what issue you solve for them, and how do you deliver that solution. And now everything else you do is to bring those who are a match for your services on a call to determine if or how you can help them. Okay, does that make sense? You guys with me? Yes, no, maybe so? Give me an amen in the comment section. All right, so this is why I love doing what I do. I love helping you figure out what are the best strategies to turn what you do into a healthy, sustainable business that is aligned with your spirit and your values. And keep bringing it back to, this is my message. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, people. All right. Another way to tell if your business model is too complex is if you can't articulate the core value of your offer in one sentence. So for example, and I'd love if you know what your offer is and want to put it in the comment section, I would love to see all that. But so for me, I help spiritual entrepreneurs go from chaos to clarity, clarity to cash flow. Now, how do I do it? Many different ways. So that's my umbrella, right? This is what your main offer is. What is your umbrella offer? So that if someone were to see it, they would go, oh, I could relate. And that's who it is, and that's what I need. I am that person, and that's what I need, right? So you want to be able to say that at one sentence ideally, and at least, in a couple of sentences, and no more than that. So look at what you offer. And if you offer a lot of different things, or especially if they don't come under the same umbrella, or you don't have a clear core offer, this is what we're talking about, what's your clear core offer for what you do, then you got to get that nailed down first. It's one of the first things I do with my clients when we start to lay out their business, right? But whatever business you are in, for all of us, we are in the business of relationships. That is our business. We think it's helping spiritual entrepreneurs. We think it's helping people with weight loss. We think it's helping people with relationships, whatever that is that you do. But it really is the business of relationships, whether you are aware of that or not. And I got an amen from Christy. Yay. Thanks, Dawn. Glad to see you're with me. Awesome. All right. So, relationships. It's what I teach those that just starting out in their business. It's what I teach those of my more established clients when their businesses start to wobble. A lot of times when your business starts to wobble, you think you need to add new products, you need to add new programs, you need to start doing more marketing tactics, and that's what they're doing. And they're doing it really willy-nilly, and they're trying to do all these things without having a conversation with folks. We need to relate to our people. We need to talk to our people. We need to connect with our people. And you want to focus on effectively communicating your value to them through these soul-centered conversations that convert those interested in what you have to offer to investing in what you have to offer. It is one of the simplest, most elegant ways of growing your business, making an impact, and making good money that I have ever experienced. Growing a business can get complicated. And I'm here to say, please don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Okay? Like, think about a surgeon. If they were handling several surgeries at one time, that would be a disaster. Well, it's the same with our businesses. Your life might not be on the line, but your business life might be. And unfortunately, many spiritual entrepreneurs that I talk to, see, work with, they get scattered. They're chasing after the next shiny object or the latest business hack, and they're not staying laser focused on that one simple business model with one clear result. And that's ramping up your revenue. And the simple model that I preach is holding soul-centered conversations that have your ideal clients eager to work with you. That's how I started out my business. And leaving that is how I got tripped up in my business, when I got away from the model. And I actually, instead of talking with my clients, I then got to the point where I needed to launch my membership program, and I needed to do launches, and I needed to promote even through email, just promoting through email. And by the way, all these things, again, I just want to say they have their place. But even after you get to the point where you start adding all these different channels to your business, this one model of soul-centered conversations is effective at whatever level you are in your business. You can always count on them from a startup business to you're scaling your business. And so the reason I love it is because it allows you to create a pipeline of clients so that you can fill your practice and your programs. You can communicate the transformation that your services provide through these conversations one-on-one. You get to customize it. You get to speak to someone so that they feel they're being seen and felt and heard when you're relating it specifically to them. And of course, then this results in easily generating income on a regular, consistent basis. And I mean, that is the lifeblood of business. Most folks are going through, they have a good month and then they have a dry spell. And then they have a couple of months later, and then they might have a decent month followed by a mediocre month. And, it feels like you're always just behind the 8 ball, right? When it comes to your money. That is not the reason you got into business for yourself. You went into business so you could follow your passion. You got into business to make a difference. You got into business to make good money. And you got into the business to make a good life for yourself and your family. So I want to share all the steps of my process. I'm going to walk you right through the entire conversation process. But first thing I want to do is make sure that you understand what soul-centered conversations are not. Okay? They are not free coaching sample sessions. They are not free healing sessions. I actually don't advocate those at all. I'll never forget the thing that put me on the map, my happy accident, my soul-centered conversations. They are my happy accident. But I was inspired to run a program. It happened to be on law of attraction, which is what I was all about by early years. Still am, but that was my big focus. And all I did was I sent a simple email from my heart to my community, and I let them know what I was doing. And I offered this private one-on-one session with me to see what was possible for them. And then together we could determine, is this a fit or not? Very low key, very low key. No webpage, no free webinar, no preview call, no launch, no joint ventures, not even a Facebook Live. They didn't even exist back then. But just an email to my list, inviting them, telling them what I was doing. So I was totally out in the open about what I was up to. And then I just invited them to a private one-on-one call with me. And I filled that first program, and I went on to fill that program every month and eventually every other month for a while until I had about 10 or 12 of those programs running at a time. And then, of course, I went on to create higher end programs, and I used the same process for that. And that was the beginning of my love affair with soul-centered conversations, which I've since honed. I've refined them over the years, and I continue to use it today. And yeah, sure, I absolutely, if you see me anywhere, you see me out there, I'm doing webinars, I'm involved in a lot of joint ventures, I've got my own launches that I do. And yet this one simple tool, this one simple strategy still creates some of the most profitable revenues I have ever made. And I implement it anytime I want to launch a new offer with a lot of complication, or I want to make some money by giving value. It's a powerful, simple, elegant way to increase revenue while making a difference, doing what you love. And what I love the most about soul-centered conversations is there is no selling, no hype, no overpowering energy, no pressure tactics. It's just a low-key, genuine way to respectfully connect with others to determine who's a fit for your offer and who isn't. And when someone is a fit, it will flow organically. But also there's a key in what I just said. Now, I wanted to make sure you picked up on that. This is not about making a sale. It's about seeing who fits. Do you get the difference? So you're just saying, let's get on a call and determine if I can help you or not, and if it's a fit. That's the energy. I'm not going to go into today, but there's a whole other mentality that I talk about, mindset around this, and how you're just passing your hors d'oeuvre tray. I've talked about this in the past. It's that energy. That is what you're doing here, okay? That's the difference in this and a lot of sales tactics and that maybe you've heard of. Certainly I have been involved in the past that did not feel good. So get some water. Oh, Leela, I teach people to quit smoking with no weight gain, no drugs, and no side effects. Wow. Well, if I was a smoker, I want that. That's awesome. I'd love to hear what the rest of you are up to. That's really good, Leela. That's awesome. All right, so let's look in the exact step-by-step soul-centered conversation process. This is going to be a good time for you to take notes. And as I go through each section, if you have questions about it, I want to invite you to ask the questions now rather than waiting until we get all the way to the end. I'll still be opening this up to questions at the end, but I just want to make sure everybody's really clear on each of these steps in this process. So that you make sure that you understand it and you understand how you would use it for yourself, okay? So the first thing, let me just do this. This is actually not step one, this is step 0. It's called my pre-session. Oops, what happened? Hold on, bear with me. Hide. Nope, that's not it, that's only part of it. Pre-session soul connection. Step 0 right here. So important, okay? My pre-session soul connection. It's one of the most important steps in this process because this is where you're setting the tone for yourself before you even get on the phone with them, all right? You're setting the energy. You're energetically connecting with the person you're going to be talking to before you get on the phone. There is this astonishing power when you align with spirit first so that the sessions you hold will be uplifting, they will be fulfilling, they will be impactful, and you will make a deeper connection. So please, please, please don't underestimate the power of this. And if you follow me at any point in time, you know that connection to spirit and energy alignment is absolutely the foundation to everything. If you don't have this first, all the action in the world is going to be a waste of time. Don't underestimate the power of this. So what you want to do is before you get on the call, just spend a minute. This doesn't have to take long. You're setting clear intention of what you want. You're getting quiet, and the intention always for me is I just want to set it to be for the highest good of all. You know, you can't go wrong if something is for the highest good of all. You can't go wrong. And then you create that soul connection with your prospective client. And you do it by envisioning you being of the highest possible service to them. And just envision them and you feeling better when you get off the phone than you did when you got on the phone, whether they said yes to you or not. Okay. You know, it's crazy. When you're not attached to it having to be the sale, it'll be amazing how many clients actually do say yes to you. Your conversation, the percentage of people saying yes to you will actually grow and expand over time for sure. And I have had people who did say no, it wasn't a fit, or it wasn't a fit for them at the time. Didn't matter. Some of them I've actually referred out if it wasn't a fit. I've gotten cards, I've gotten brownies in the mail. I mean, it's like, thank you. So, you know, that's what you want. You want that kind of energy. So you all are feeling really good about the process. So just checking for comments, nothing there. So we're going to go on to step 1. And step 1 is establishing rapport. If you're not taking notes, please take notes, because I don't have a way. You know, if I was on a webinar, I'd have this on PowerPoints and all of that good stuff, but I don't. So this is step 1. Step 1 is, you've already started the rapport. You've started it with making that and setting that intention and making that connection. This is really, I say establish rapport, but it's really about heartfelt connection. And I mean really connecting with your client when you're on, or your prospective client when you're on the phone with them. The more you are focused on being of service to your potential client and less about getting a client, the more clients you're going to attract who are eager to sign up with you. So first thing you want to do, just thank them for being on the call with you today. And here's a question, and it's an important question, however you want to phrase it for yourself, but I always want to know, what compelled you to take the time to be on the call with me today? Always want to ask that question. And the reason is, first of all, you want to understand why they felt the need to have a session with you, or the desire. It may not be a need, but they wanted to be on the session with you. They wanted a session with you. There's something going on in their lives for them not only to have taken the time to be on the call with you, but to be on the call with you, not someone else. Does that make sense? So I need to understand why they felt compelled to be on the call. You will learn a lot just from that question. And it puts it, notice as we're asking questions, we're putting it over on them. We're putting the spotlight on them. We're being over there with them. Remember what I said about people want to be seen and felt and heard. This is how you do that. You ask them the questions. And as we go through this, you're going to notice that the theme in all of this is I ask questions. I ask lots of questions. So that's step 1. Establish rapport, heartfelt connection. Now, the step 2 is establishing the agenda. All right. Here, let me just do this. Can I do it? Oh, I'm getting better at this. So this is establishing the agenda. And this is, you want them to know, hey, you're the person leading the call, and you want to let them know how the call is going to go. What can they expect? What you're doing is you're creating a safe space where your potential client can just relax and just be open to the session. Okay. So the whole time is we're creating that rapport, we're connecting, and you definitely want to create a safe space for them as well. So let me get some water here. Examples of questions that you would be asking to establish the, or letting them know that, this is what we're going to do today. Just ask. Once again, notice a pattern here. Can I share how the call will go today so we get the most out of our time together? Great question to ask. Of course, they're going to say yes. And then you just let them know, okay, so during this session, I'll be asking questions to find out if or how I can help you. We'll look at where you ultimately want to be in your life or your business or your situation, whatever your thing is. I'm looking at Leela. So it would be where you ultimately want to be in your health and, to quit smoking. We're going to give you a clear vision of how to get there. And I'm telling you, if I were a smoker and Leela said that to me, I'd be all ears for sure. We're going to look at your current situation. So where are you in your smoking habit right now? And then we're going to uncover what are the obstacles or the areas where you are maybe sabotaging yourself, so we can get those out in the open. And at the end of the call, if I feel like I can help you, then we can explore what that looks like. How does that sound to you? Making sense? You guys getting this? Super laid back, but still over there with them. One of the other things too that you want to make sure you do is let them know that, again, this is a safe space, right? Let them know that this call is absolutely confidential, that this goes nowhere. Everything that happens on this call stays in this call. And you might want to let them just reiterate, this is a 20-minute call, or we're going to be here for 30 minutes, something like that. But I would make sure that that's something that you make sure that they know too. All of it's creating trust. It's creating that safe space. And then once you've finished with establishing the agenda, here's where I go first. And that is take them, I call it spotlight. Can I spell? Spotlight the desire. Spotlight their desire. There we go. Spotlight their desire. This is step 3. All right. Always start with their vision. Now, I know a lot of sales training doesn't necessarily start you there. They want to start with where are you right now and what's the pain, and dig into the pain. I totally disagree with that. I always want to start with their vision. I want to raise their energy. I want to raise their vibration. This is law of attraction at its best. So take the time to really paint the picture of possibility with them. Help them paint that possibility for themselves, so that what you're doing is you're getting their energy really high. So when you do come down to what's going on with them, like the issues, that you're not taking them into a place of feeling like a loser or depressed or whatever it might be, right? You really want to bring their energy up. So super simple. Tell me the vision you have for around your life or your business or your situation. What would you want it to look like in 6 months or 12 months from now? And I don't know how long, like Leela, I love that you put something out there so I can keep coming back to you. But, I don't know how long it takes for the smoking cessation. But one of the things that, if it's 3 months or 12 months or whatever, that's great. But, get them to paint the picture of what it'll look like that time from now, if things are really going well for you. So this is where you start asking more questions, lots of probing questions. All of it's focused on helping them get clear on their vision and their ultimate dream, their ultimate result, their ultimate outcome, their ultimate transformation. So where do they want to be in 12 months? What would that look like? What would your life be like then? What would be different in your life? Who else is affected as a result of this? What would you be doing right now that you're not doing? What else? Those are the types of questions. What would that do for you? What would the impact on your life be, or your business, or whatever it might be? And then one of the things I love to do is I just like, all right, imagine that you've already achieved whatever it is. And by the way, whatever they've been telling you, you're telling it right back to them. Right? They're painting the picture and you're feeding it back to them. Okay. And then I ask them to close their eyes and I say, be there now. And I really let them be in the energy. So if you understand anything about law of attraction and energy alignment, what you're doing is you're already bringing them up to that vibrational level of what it's going to be like when they're got there. So what are they doing? What are you doing? You're making them attractive to it. You're already creating. When they get vibrationally aligned with it, then the result has to happen. That's the way it works. So this is why you want to really spend some time here. Spend some time in their vision. And then another question I like to ask is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, how important is achieving this result or outcome or dream for you? What's important to you about that? And what are you willing to do to have it? All right. This is really important because you want to know how important it is to them. If I ask that question to somebody and they say, well, it's about a 5, I'm probably not going to feel like this is a fit for me, because I know that I want clients that are at a certain level. Okay. And this tells me that. Now I can probe into that. So it's a 5. This is another thing you can do too. A little side note here. A lot of people say, what would take that to a 6 or a 7? What would need to happen for that? A lot of times what I'll do is I'll do a twist on it. And what I'll say is, so what is it that had you be at a 5? What is it about you that would have you be at a 5 right now and not at a 3 or a 2? See what's happening here? Like, boom. Most people, they're expecting you to say, oh, well, that's, what would make it better? Like it's not good enough. You're just always being right there with them where they are and supporting them. And so that will tell you a lot when they answer that question. First of all, it's probably going to surprise them. So it's going to kind of jolt them out of, whatever's going on in their minds about it. But then they dig into, well, it's a 5 because I believe with support I could have that happen, or I've seen it happen for other people, or because I am so ready for this to happen and I don't care anymore. And maybe a 5 to them doesn't mean the same as a 5 to you. Now, still with a 10, if I say 10 being high, that tells me that they're at a neutral point, and you need to be clear on the clients that you work with and how the ones you can help. Does that make sense? If somebody's coming in at a 5 or a 2, so hey, I am actually launching a new group program in the next day or so, and we'll be doing 20. Oh, perfect. Alara. Awesome. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right or not. Let me know. Leila, it's an 8-week class. Ooh-wee. Oh, this is fascinating. That's really fascinating, Leila. Yeah. So one of the things to know, so I don't know for you, Leila, but if somebody said, I really want to quit smoking, and you're asking, well, we'll get to that in a minute, where you start to dig through what they've done before. But if they say, it's a 2 because I really don't believe that's possible, I'm just hoping, I don't know what your process is. Just on my own assumption, I would think I don't think this is somebody that I could really help until they shift. Now, for me and the work that I do, this is one of the things I do. I say, okay, here's where you are. Your mindset is a certain place. So I know what I need to do. We need to start here. That will come later. That's helping me decide what it is I can offer them based on where they are right now. Some people I won't be able to. Some people I will recommend them out or recommend something else. But right now we're still in the vision, okay? And we're just trying to get a feel for where they are in their vision. Sometimes it's a 5 because they just don't believe that they can as much as they want to. If you know you can get them over that hump, then that's just good information for you. You guys, is this making sense? You still with me? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. Okay, and by the way, we've talked about the vision and what they would be and how their life would be different and impact they'd make. You also want to ask the practical questions too. How much money would you, if it's a business thing, how much money would you be making? How many clients would you be serving? How many days a week would you be working? How many days a week would you be playing? How many weeks of vacation would you like? So you can get into some, or if it's weight loss, you can get into specifics about that. So you can ask the practical things too, but just take them up into the essence of their vision in all of that. So important. All right. Hey, Mary. Hi, Christy. Great. Thank you. Good information still with you. Okay, good to know. Awesome. All right. We are going to go into step 4. Let me just change my little sign out here. And my step 4 is identify where they are now. Okay. This is step 4. Identify where they are now. And this is why we want to take them high first. So they're writing their vision, they're writing possibility. And now we're going to have to discover where's the gap between where they are and where they want to be. So in this case, if I'd started here, if they're already in an energy that was low, then this is going to take them down. That's not what I'm here for. I am absolutely the opposite of that. And also something just to note here, so important when you get to identifying where they are now and then any hidden challenges and obstacles, which we'll go to in a minute. Please, it's important to acknowledge them for the success or the efforts that they have made so far. So are you guys seeing a pattern here? Like, I'm totally in support. I'm totally about uplifting. I'm total, no matter where they are, wanting them to understand all is well with them. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not bad, right? They're not wrong. They have a desire. They've tried. And one of the things I do know is no matter where anybody is, and if they're continuing to struggle, if they struggle for 20 years, I don't care. They've done the best they could with who they are and where they are right now and what they understand right now. They really are. And that desire, though, is calling something else forward. That desire, when it's still there. And by the way, your desires come from the core of who you are. That comes from your inner guidance. That comes from source energy. That comes from your higher self. That's what those kind of core desires are. Even if someone hasn't been able to make it happen for themselves yet. And man, if somebody's got that, then, I know I can help them. But I also, one of the ways you help them, and right here on these calls, is acknowledge them for what they have done. Acknowledge the efforts that they have made. Does that make sense? Okay. Chevrolet Burns. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. So good to see you here. And love the name. Your new name. That's awesome. Okay. So identifying where they are now. So this is where the rubber kind of meets the road. You need to know, where are they currently in their life or their business or their situation. You can't help what you don't know. I mean, we can keep them up in their vision, but we need to know also, where is this gap, so that you know what needs to happen, how you can help them get from that gap to their vision, right? So you want to ask them, well, what's the current situation? What's the current scenario around this? How does that feel to you right now? How would you rate your satisfaction in this area? Once again, I like the 1 to 10s. They help me gauge things. It's just kind of a shortcut to gauge things with them. I also want to know how much time they've been spending on the situation so far, so that you know what they've been doing. If they said, well, I just thought about it yesterday and figured it might be a good idea, probably not going to be an ideal client for me. So it's not that I'm happy to hear that people are struggling for a while at all. It's just that if they have that core desire, that's what tells me I know they've got it within them to be able to shift this, and that I can help them do. I know how to do that. Make sense? Awesome. Hi, Gail. Loving the energy you bring to the. Oh, thank you. Yes. Absolutely. You just want to be there for them. You want to love them. You want to love them up, right? So even in the gap, even when they're looking at the situation and, you're digging into what they've done, you really need to understand that, because if they're telling you, well, I've done all these things that maybe, I've done law of attraction and I've tried to access inner guidance and I've, whatever those things are, and those things just don't work for me. And so I'm looking for something different. Well, right away, I can't, like, that is it. That's everything I stand for. I remember way back when I first got into coaching and someone came to me and they wanted me to coach them through something and said, but the thing I don't want, please don't use law of attraction with me. Don't talk to me about law of attraction. I was like, well, that's what I'm about. If I can't talk about that, there's nothing to talk about. So that was a quick conversation. Anyway, so this is why you want to get to the gap. But remember, we've built them up. We've got them into the vision and the possibility. So even if they're saying, I've tried all these things, what they have going on right now is, but there's still possibility for me, right? Make sense? Okay. All right. Next step, identifying. Let me just change out my little sign here. Let's see. Yeah. Identifying hidden challenges or obstacles, right? Challenges, obstacles, all of those limiting beliefs, whatever they might be. So this is now, so we've taken them high. We've identified where they are now and what all they've been doing to shift the situation. Now we want to go deeper. We want to uncover everything that might be getting in the way of them experiencing the results that they want. You really want a clear understanding of the situation so you can identify how you can help them, or even if you can help them, right? So this is why you want to dig in. And I'll just remind you again, especially at this particular step, well, that step 4 as well, but step 5, when you go into all the obstacles and the challenges they have, please remember that to acknowledge them for the efforts so far. Okay. And the other thing too is also to remind them that they're not alone, that this is not unusual. This is where sharing client stories, if you have them that are similar, it's a great place to help soothe their energy. But so you get here and you're just like, all right, let's see what might be getting in the way or slowing you down or stopping you or standing in the way of you achieving whatever it is that you want, right? And this is just, all it is taking step 4 and taking it deeper. How much time have you spent on this? What have you tried already to remedy the situation? Depending on what your focus is, it might be how much money have you spent, or how much have you lost, or how much have you wasted? What's the most challenging thing about that? What's other questions that they're deep questions. And it depends, you'll be hearing from them and that will lead you to what the questions would be. But what's most challenging about that? Or what would you say are the reasons for those challenges? That helps kind of dig into what else might be going on with them. Definitely want to know how long they've been facing these challenges and how it's impacted them. Also, how's it impacted those around them? If they're in a family, especially if it's health issues and things like that, how has that impacted their family? What's the worst thing about having those challenges and what's it costing you? This is where I come back. Now, I asked this question in the vision, but this is where I come back and I will ask on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, how important is it for you to get this resolved now? I really want to know where their level of desire is. Another question is, how soon do you want to turn this around? And again, with you, Leela, with the smoking thing, how soon do you want to turn this around? I mean, I have to imagine I'd want it yesterday, So great questions to ask. And here's another thing, take them out into the future. Some people call this future pacing, I think. But basically what you're doing is like, okay, if we were here and we were having this discussion 3 years from today and you were looking back over these past 3 years, what would have had to happen in your life? And that could be personally or professionally, depending on what your focus is, for you to feel really happy about your progress. That's going to say a lot. That's going to give you a lot of information about them as well. Another thing, again, depending on what your focus is, I would want to know, well, what dangers do you have now that need to be eliminated? Another one's, what opportunities need to be captured? What strengths do you want to maximize to have this be different if we were talking 3 years from now? So those kinds of questions where you're digging into where they are, again, it really goes down to where they are, their desires, how much they want something, and how they are thinking about it and seeing it in their own minds. All right, I'm going to get some water here. Thoughts? Questions? Comments? Alara. Oh, wait. I was getting confused. You, oh my goodness, you're the Sheffield Burns. See, I saw your comment over here, but the comments over on Be Live don't show your freaking names or pictures, which is why I have to keep coming back over here. So, goodness me. Well, you just never know, do you? All right, let's go on. Step 6. You'll notice this again. You'll notice a pattern here with me. Re-energize and inspire. Okay. So Gail, I call these soul-centered conversations. It's all about soul and energy and connection. And how do you invite people to these calls? So that would be a good question to hold. Actually, I was saying to ask as we get to these sections, specifically about the sections. Hold that thought. I want to answer that, but let's do it after I go through the whole process. We're getting down to the end of the process, and we can talk about that. Great question. All right, re-energize and inspire. All right, so here, what have we done on these conversations? And oh, sorry, I'm going back to Gail. See, Gail, you got me over there. And then what do you, when you were saying what you call these conversations, like what you will name them, and we'll talk about all of that, okay? Because it depends on what you're doing, but I'd love to talk about that. All right, re-energize and re-inspire or inspire. So here we've gone, we've clear on their vision. We've got their current reality. We've identified the challenges that get in the way. This is in all through this, again, you know, you want to make sure that they feel like they're not alone. It's great places to interject stories of clients that they could relate to so that they don't feel like they're all alone and that they feel like they can do it, right? So clients you've helped who are in similar situations who share what you can see for them. So if I was talking with a healer, I would be sharing all my healer stories, right? Who've been in the same boat with them. Susan Sinclair, we got clear on her offer. Where were her lead sources? Helped her package her conversations, Gail, and naming them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And she went on to help more than 180 people in 2 years in her business. That's what grew her business. And so other people like, I don't know, Carrie McDonald, in 2 weeks after we got all of this, 2 weeks after we got this set up, she went on and got 12 new clients for her Reiki practice. So you just want to go into detail as it pertains to the person that you're talking to on the phone, if that makes sense. So just think about that. Make sure you've got your stories in hand that you can share with them so that they can feel. The most important thing, you know, of all of this is, yes, you can have your dreams, and yes, it is doable. Those are the things I totally want to make sure my people understand, that it's not just for some people. You've got a core desire. You've got it in you. For me, my work is helping people to identify what those things are that resonate with them, that is aligned with their spirit and values. What most people are doing is they're just going out and they're hearing what other people have to say and how you do things in marketing, sales, or whatever, building your business. And it's not necessarily works for them because it's not who they are, or it's not in alignment with their belief system or their values or their spirit. You know, someone, and not that anything is wrong with those. I just want to make sure you understand there are so many different ways of doing things that are really great, and they work really well for some people, but not for others. And that's why. So there's nothing wrong with the processes. It's just, is it right for you? That's one of the things I help people get clear on, is what's right for you. That clears out so much clutter. You know, like, I don't even need to listen to that because I know it's not going to resonate. I'm not missing out on anything. That's the other thing. If it doesn't resonate with you, you're not missing out. If you're not doing the greatest and latest marketing trend or business hack, you're not. So once again, keeping it really simple. But you just, in the same way, you know, we started with bringing them into a vibrational high with the vision. You want to leave them on a vibrational high. So they leave the call really energized and inspired, whether they choose to work with you or not. Everything you do on this call is in service to your potential client first and foremost. That's what this is about. Because when you do that, if they do end up being an ideal match for you, you are absolutely going to see more and more people saying yes to you, because they're not buying your process. They're not buying your product. They're not buying your program. They are connecting with you. They are creating a relationship with you. And that is what, well, they're investing in themselves, but why it is with you is because of the relationship and the trust. Does that make sense? That's what we're about. It's not about selling our products and our programs. It's about the connection and making a difference to those who are ready to step up into that, who are a match. Right? Make sense? Yes, no, baby, so? All right. So if you could turn, so here we are. We've brought them high. We've met them in the middle. We've taken them into the challenges. And now you've shared some stories about how it was doable based on things you've done with your other clients. And now here's where you ask. So if you could turn these challenges around and move them towards your whatever it is that they've said. And I'm going to emphasize this again. You need to be taking notes when you're talking to them, because you want to be taking in their words what they're saying. And then you want to feed back to them what you heard them say in their words. So if you hear their words and then you flip it back into what your words would be, there's not the same connection. It may mean the same thing to you, not necessarily to them. Does that make sense? So you really want them to be seen and heard and feel that from you. So Gail, tying in the application of law of attraction and managing. Oh yeah. Oh yes, absolutely. This is everything. It is everything. Absolutely everything. So absolutely. And Betty, mwah, or mwah, I'm reading you over here. And so, all right. So if you could turn these challenges around, moving easily towards your whatever that is, can you see what's possible for you? Can you see what you could achieve? Can you see whatever, however you need to phrase that based on the conversation? What would that do for you? What else would that do for you? What makes that so great? So you just keep drilling it down. So we're back into bringing them back into vibration. Now what we're doing is we had them in the vibration of possibility. We met them where they were. We uncovered the challenges. We've maybe shared some stories to help them see it's doable and they're not alone. And then we're saying, so if you could shift that, what would that be? So we're taking them back into possibility now, but now the possibility is more real. The possibility is more real because of where you've taken them up to this point. Does that make sense? So now it's like, oh my gosh, yes, that I can see how that could be possible now. And one of my favorite questions, oh my goodness, always, how will you celebrate when you've achieved that? Always, fun is number one. That's one of my bumper stickers. Well, by sayings, I call it my bumper sticker. Fun is number one. Don't you ever forget it. And so don't get so serious that you're doing something, then you're off to the next thing. Celebrate. Take the time to celebrate. Invite them to celebrate. Take them into the vision of what they would do when they celebrate, right? So then at this point, you're going to recap where you've been with them. So this is step 7. Recap the session. All right. So it's kind of more the same. So you're just like reviewing everything that you've done. Let me get some water. So just like, okay, so let's look at where we are so far. We've identified where you want to be in your life, your business, your situation in the next 12 months, 6 months, 8 weeks, whatever. But whatever it is, remember, repeat what they told you in their own words. You told me where you wanted to be. It was whatever they said. We have identified where you are right now. We've uncovered some hidden obstacles that could get in the way, and repeat what those obstacles are that they shared with you, right? And we've looked at what's possible for you to achieve. So, and based on what's possible is whatever they said to you. Based on what we've discussed, here's what, let's say it's a business thing. So I'm working with somebody around making money, or uncomplicating their business, which is a lot of what I do. Here's what you need to make more money without requiring more of your time in your business. What I see is to structure your programs and services so you're offering different modules based on your different clients' interests rather than one huge program with no options. Another would be create programs for your higher end clients that you're leaving off the table right now. Another would be restructure your fees to reflect the value in these new offerings. So I'm laying out kind of what I see. And then I'm going back to asking the questions again. I want to get them into the vision. So how would your business be different as a result of this, or your relationships or your health? How would it be different? And then one question, this one you want to always ask. What would you say is the most valuable part of our session so far? Let them tell you, okay? Verbalize what they just said back to them. You want them to know you heard them fully. And it's really good feedback for you, because what you might think was the most important thing or the most valuable part of the session might not be. So it's great information for you to know as well. And then you just say, okay, great. So you said if you could be or do or what this, you felt you could achieve or have or be this, right? Again, so you're just taking your time to summarize what's possible for them, allow them to bask in that vision. And you also want to make sure that, I'm talking about a lot of the energy stuff here, but you also want to include the tangible results as well. I say you need both, okay? I know a lot of people will talk about, here's the tangible results you'll get, but they never talk about the vision and how it would feel and getting into the energy alignment of that. To be that without that, it's just flat. It's just not the same. And so I feel like you need both. If you have tangible results, you want to share what those are. And just so you want to just make sure you're all encompassing, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. And this is where you transition to your offer. Okay, this is, what do we call this? Transition to your offer. All right, this is step 8. Step 8. All right, so now it's clear they got value from you. You've already asked them that. They know. You can help them at this point. Hopefully you know that you can help them. If not, then you can refer them out. But you usually, way before you get to this point, you're pretty much clear on that. And this is where you let them know you would love to help them. So, and again, another opportunity to remind them they're not alone and it is doable. So you could say, you know what, all of these challenges we uncovered, not unusual. They are really common. You are so not alone. You said you believed if you could get rid of these issues that are getting in your way, you could be achieving, enjoying, experiencing whatever it is that they said. I absolutely agree with that. All right. And if you have another story that could lock it in, a client story would be great here. I keep saying that, so I don't want you, every time you talk to them, you're like, oh, and here's a client story. Oh, and here's a client story. It's not like that, right? It's just naturally where something naturally would fit, bring those client stories in. So help them to understand how doable it is. And if other people could do it, especially if they've been through something similar, that they can too. It really does help people with that. It shifts their beliefs in huge ways. And it's important for them to see that that vision of theirs is doable for them, not just for somebody else, right? So based on, what you have shared with me here, absolutely, it's extremely doable. I would love to help you with that. Do you have any other questions for me at this point? Okay, so that's where I would leave it. And then this is usually where, if there are any things that are, this is where a lot of times objections can come up or insecurities can come up when you let them ask you the questions rather than trying to figure it out. And then they might want to know how might they work with you, or how do you see this working for me if I've got this issue, or how much time is this going to take? So all these things will start to come up, which is great. That's what you want. Okay. But notice you're asking them the questions and they're bringing it back to you. It's not you saying, okay, and if it's this, and if it's this, and if it's this, and you're talking to them, they're the ones telling you, do you see the power in this? It's like, this is why it's not a sales conversation. Either they are going to decide themselves or they'll decide not. Outside the fact that you believe you can help them. I mean, if they want to work with you and you know you can't help them, or they're not your ideal client, then that's up to you. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you're not having to talk anybody into anything at all. You're just asking the questions and bringing it out of them. Let them tell you, right? So no selling. And usually by this point, they're usually pretty excited to hear how you can help them. And that's what they want to know. And so that's what you say. So yes, absolutely. So can I share how I see we could move forward together? Absolutely. And then you just share kind of the overall vision of what that would look like. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to help you get clear on what you want, your vision and direction. We've done some of that on the call today, but we're going to take it deeper. We're going to get more specific about your direction and your goals. And we're going to work backwards. We're going to create a model that supports your vision. And then once that's in place, then together we will create your inspired action plan. For me, they're always inspired action plans. Not, we got to have this plan that you're going to do whether you like it or not. We're going to, again, it all comes down, for me, it's got to resonate. It's got to be in alignment. We're going to create an inspired action plan. So you're clear on exactly how to move from where you are to whatever it is you said that's going to support your vision. And by the way, these are just the main elements I see after our conversation so far. Does it sound like this would be of value to you? Asking a question, right? Let them tell you. And then, of course, this gives you the natural transition into your offer. Dawn, oh, good, awesome. Yes. I'm glad this is of value to you guys. It's just so different. Can you get the difference in this and a quote sales conversation, or even like a free coaching session or free healing session? Is so different. You're not giving your services away for free. By the way, one of the reasons I am not an advocate of the free sessions is because you're not getting to the core of what's going on with people. They're coming to you with something and you're slapping a Band-Aid on it and they feel all better and they go away. And then you wonder why you don't have clients. Does that make sense? So this is like taken to the vision, what's possible. Yeah, there are things we can do, and we're going to take it deeper, and we're going to get to the truth of this to get to your vision. So we're going, first of all, you're going to get into the symptoms and not just throw a Band-Aid on something. And it's going to be so much deeper. And they are going to, this is the other thing, they're going to start to realize just the depth of what they're asking for and what they want that maybe they even didn't realize until you start asking these kinds of questions. So this is the point where, you want to transition to your offer, and it's really easy. So, as I said, obviously I've shared some today. I've worked with some clients who have similar challenges to yours, similar aspirations to yours, and I've designed a couple of packages to help with that. Would you like to hear about them? Still asking questions. You notice this? I'm asking questions. Now, when you go to share your offers, and this is something that I do with people. So remember, the first thing is we get clear on what your offer is and packaging that. And then we get clear on where are the lead sources for your ideal clients. And then we get to the point where you're inviting them into these one-on-one sessions. When you get to this point, make sure that you are talking about the results, outcome, and transformation they experience, not your process or your methodology. That is like a side note. Remember, you can tell people to stand on their head and sing Mary Had a Little Lamb 10 minutes a day. And if they thought that would give them the results, they would do it. They really don't care what the method is. They just want to know, can they get the results? Okay. So this is where you share your different offers or options. And another thing I'm going to say here, never offer more than 3. If you only have 1, that's fine. Ideally, have 2, never more than 3. When you have more than 3 offers, then too much confusion. And the other thing, let me get some water, is, where was I? Never often. One of the things I would also do, and I do, is if I have, let's say I have 3 offers, I'm going to say, okay, so I've designed, I've got 3 packages here. They've said they want to hear about them, and they'll share, this is package 1, this is package 2, this is package 3. However, based on the conversation we had here today, I would recommend package B for you. It might be package A. It might be the high-end one, package C. Whatever it is, you make a recommendation that you feel would be to their best advantage, all right? So you're not trying to get everybody into your high-end program, and you're not just sharing your lowest-end program either. So people need to know what all the different options are. They might even have the idea that they're going into a package A until you shared what B and C were, and then all of a sudden they're going, whoa, maybe I want to sign up for package C, right? But you lay out your packages, and then you make a recommendation. Remember, this is why they came to you. So you are representing, you're not telling them what to do, but you're laying everything out for them, and you're helping them to get clear for themselves. And if you say, I recommend package B, and they're saying, oh, well, I think it'd be better, it'd be easier if I could just start with A, I'm going, totally okay with me. All right. Absolutely. Is this making sense, people? Stephanie, I love putting the vision first. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Yes. The reverse is what most people do, actually, Stephanie. Most of them do that. I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel. I'm a spiritual rebel. I'm an energy alignment rebel. So you offer your packages, but you're just talking, what are the results, the outcome, and transformation? And then now that you've explained your options and you shared one of the questions I would ask back is, okay, here's A, B, and C. Now that I've explained your options and I shared which program I think would benefit you, what are the benefits you see for yourself? You see that? Still putting it back on them. You're giving them their power. You're not taking the power away from them. And when you do that, it's like they're selling themselves. They're seeing the value for themselves, and they're making that decision without you having to do all the work, right? We're just holding the mirror up for them and asking the question so they can see it for themselves. What else do I want to say about that? I think that was it. And then, of course, believe it or not, there's 2 more steps, but these are quick and easy steps. There is acceptance and payment. Ooh, ooh. All right, they've said yes, and I think package B is the way I want to go. And so you're like, awesome. So you always want to have a system for getting them started right away when someone signs up with you, whether it's one-on-one or it's a program, and even if the program's not starting for a while. So but first, the acceptance and the payment. So you want to say, great. So the first thing we need to do is to get you signed up. And then what I want to do is let's get our calendars out, and let's look at the dates and things and make sure we're in sync there, or finding your sacred space with me, which is what I do. It's like, all right, let's find your sacred space that we're going to lock it in. I'm yours forever at this date and time based on the program they're in with me. What credit card do you want to use? One of the things, be prepared to take their information and process it while they're on the phone with you. Now, if someone says, well, I need to think about this. And I, in my Breakthrough Sessions program, we talk about all of this. When do you know to take it right then, or to let them wait a couple of days? There's ways to know that, but I'm not one of those like, okay, and if you make the decision before you get off the phone today, it's a Ginzu knife and $5,000 discount or whatever, right? I don't do that. I do let them know, okay, this is the next step. And then most of the time people will just say, yeah, great, let me get my card, right? Or whatever. Sometimes they're saying, okay, well, I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my husband, or, whatever the thing is, I am totally okay with that. Here's the thing. Different people, and this is why you have to acknowledge, different people work in different ways. Some people are, sign me up. When do we go? And other people think, whoa, I just need to take my time, right? Those are the people that get into resistance to those calls, or even just in promotions where, you've got to, by the end of the day, you've got to sign up. And I know I have a friend that's like that. And just on principle, she'll go, nope, not signing up if you're going to do that to me. Now, there are reasons for having deadlines. Okay. very good reasons. I have deadlines, but I'm not doing that pressure tactic at all with them. What I'll do is I'll say, okay, great. Let's set a time to get back on the phone together. And usually within 48 hours, right? And then we'll set the time to get back up on the phone, and then we'll connect and take it from there. So you guys with me still? Yes, yes. Love your spiritual rebellion. Thank you, Christy. You can come join us. You can join my spiritual rebellious tribe. You're probably already. Okay, so then be prepared to take that information. Now, once you've done that, you want to also have ways to get them started right away. People are excited when you are signing them up to work with you, whether it's one-on-one or programs or whatever. So one of the, like I just said, let's get out our calendars. Let's schedule the appointments, and get them on the calendar. Another thing would be get them in a Facebook group if you have a community of people, and have something that you have all of them working on right away. Like, be thinking about what would your offer be and post it in here, or whatever your thing is. And then the other thing is send them a welcome packet. Send them a welcome packet with a congratulations for joining. It has all the logistics. It has the details of the service. If there's a members area, send them their login information. If you have something for them to get started working on right away, that's probably in the members area, a questionnaire maybe they can answer and get back to you, things like that. Get that out to them right away. You just want to make sure that you've got something that gets them going and that you're in connection with them in that way. All right. And then the most fun step. Are you ready for this? Number 10. It's just what I talked about a minute ago. Celebrate. Don't like, oh, yay, I got a client. Now we're back on to the next thing. Acknowledge yourself for a job well done. Acknowledge yourself for communication and connection, and be in gratitude of this amazing new client that is coming here to work with you. Other ways of doing it, sure, you can go out, you can celebrate with a meal, with family, with friends. Here's another way. Do something really unexpected for your client. And I don't say, like, you don't need to send them, bouquets of flowers and baskets, but a simple thank you card in the mail. How unusual is that? How often have you gotten that? I used to do that. I've gotten away from that. This is just triggering myself. It's just so different. And it's a nice way to celebrate, and to celebrate them and being excited with them. So there you go, Kokomos. That is my process. That is exactly what I did that put my business on the map way back when I just sent that email out saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this program, and here's what I see. And it was results and outcome again in the program. And I'd love to get on a one-on-one and determine if it's a fit, if you're interested. I mean, that's the other thing, is if you're interested. And man, I had all of these people, and this is what I did, this process. It's been more refined over time for sure, but this is why I call it my happy accident. The way it started was, we would have the one-on-one calls. Like if when I first started, all I did was one-on-one clients. I didn't know about anything else. But I'd get on the phone with, I would always send them for coaches anyway. We have a intake package, right? You usually have a questionnaire you send them to fill out. And when I decided to do this program, I thought, well, and it was a year-long program. I mean, it's like just divine happy accidents, but it was going to be a year-long program. It was going to be a group. And I thought, well, if I'm going to work a year with one-on-one clients and I send them a whole questionnaire package, and I have a conversation with them, I should do that with these people. And that's what triggered this whole thing. And it's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. And you can have these enrollment calls. Let's say that you like to speak and you're speaking, and if you don't like sales, or you get tense when you think about sharing about sales, don't. Make it easy on yourself, especially if you're what I'm calling a wisdom guide, which is most of the people that I work with. Holistic practitioners, healers, coaches in the transformation industry. So I don't necessarily work with corporate coaches or executive coaches, but, transformational coaches. And And you get on, and then that's what you offer. It's a give. And then what you do is when you get on the phone with them, then you have this kind of conversation. You can be very clear on what offer would be best for them. And then you can make that offer to them. A lot of times also what happens is when we're speaking, and even on webinars, right? Even on webinars, if we're saying, okay, sign up for this program, they might not be ready for that program, but they're ready to work with you. And when you just make the offer to have a one-on-one session, then you can determine what that is and bring them in, whether that was what the webinar was about or your speaking was about to begin with. Make sense? Okay, let me go back and see. So that's it. And just remember, so there's 3 actual pillars to this. The first is craft a compelling offer that attracts your ideal clients, and which means that you already know who your ideal clients are. Then identifying the right lead sources that gets you in front of those ideal clients, and then holding these one-on-one soul-centered conversations that convert into happy paying clients. So there's a lot of number of specifics and details to each of these steps, but in essence, what I just gave you for these conversations, that is it. It's very simple, clean, elegant model of soul-centered conversations where you totally focus on them from a place of service always. Very simple, very easy to do. Can you see how powerful this strategy is? Especially for your business. You can use it for anything, everything. You can do launches, and if you can clearly, even in my launches, I use this where I'm still promoting the product or the program. But when you have the several ways I do it. Oh, my brain's going crazy. One is you have the live chat on the sales pages. Sometimes it's just like, hey, let's just hop on let's schedule a call together. And sometimes when I'm in the middle of my launches, they'll say, hey, so if you've got any questions, respond to this email. I'll be sure to respond back to you personally, and I will get on the phone with them. Okay. A lot of times the sales people are doing that, but if you have a sales team, and there are some people out there that actually not exactly my model, but they come from that same energy, which is really great. But again, for me, people want to connect with me. People want to connect with you. And there can be a point in time where you have to get other people involved. You can't do it all. So I have had my sales team, but when I can, I'm the one that wants to get on the phone with them. So let's see. Okay, Mary, how do you know who your ideal client is, and how do you find them once you know who they are? Man, those are some big questions right there. So one of the things that's part of the work is getting to what your ideal clients are, and there's a whole methodology of knowing that. But just based on where we are right now, I would say, what is it that you love to do? What do you do? You want to share that with us? Is it Mary Sunshine? Mary Sunshine? If you want to share that with us. And then one of the things I look at, there's all these processes that you can go through about where your target market is. I call it your divine market. But one of the things I start with, if you could work with the most fun people what would be the most fun people you could think of to work with? Which ones would be really cool? Because a lot of times we can work with all kinds of people. And I have all kinds, but man, I just keep gravitating back to my spiritual entrepreneurs, my coaches, healers, holistic practitioners. Some of them are change agents, speakers, and authors, but they're all in this transformation in industry or arena, right? Those are my peeps. So what is that for you? And then once we uncover who that is for you, Mary, then we go out and we look at where do they hang out, and we find out where they are. That, which is, the second part of this process, is once you know what your offer is, first of all, what is your offer? So one thing that you're going to know, your ideal clients have to be interested in whatever your solution is. So that's going to narrow it down a little bit. And then who would be in that arena? Who would be the most fun people that you think to be working with? And then where do they hang out? And then we do a work to find out where they are so that you have the right lead sources that gets you in front of them. And then it's all these different ways, which I know, who was it? One of you was, I I wish that had your names on here. Oh, go, I love that. Getting out of real estate, going into leading workshop. My last Walking on Sunshine, going from crappy to happy. Awesome. Okay. And so who were you getting that workshop in front of, Mary? Who were you promoting that to? Oh my goodness. You know what? The way this works is your comments disappear. Oh man. Yeah. So Mary, I would be curious to know who you were advertising this particular workshop to. So there's lots of people that are crappy and want to get to happy. That's for sure. And if there are people, if you have been in real estate, this may not be, again, this is, usually when I'm working with somebody, we can really dig down. So I'm just doing this by just one little message that's coming up on the comments. But I would say, are they your people? Are those people wanting to go from crappy to happy? And that's an industry that that would be a nice segue into this new work that you're doing. Not necessarily have to, but that would be one way to do it. Okay. And so if in your local area, so that they're in your local area. So then for you, it's looking, where are they hanging out? Where are the spiritual associations? Where are the spiritual groups? Where are they? Where are they online? But to look at where they are. Right. And then, that's where you want to get in front of them. And if you do like doing workshops, then my hunch is that if you found some of these groups where you could get in front of them and speak, even if it's for an hour or even 30 minutes, but an hour. And if they have some kind of organization, even like unity churches and things like that have people come in to work with them. So it would need to be a conversation for us to have to help you get clearer on that. But that's kind of the process. So they just don't have any money. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So I see some of you are leaving now. We are wrapping up here. I wanted to answer though. So who was you who asked, where do you find these? So one of the things I just want to just talk about quickly, this is part of what's in the Breakthrough Sessions program that I have, but you can either start with your list. You can also look at, once you look at where people are. So if your people are on Facebook, start posting on Facebook, those kinds of things. Looking at, if you like to speaking, if you're getting on webinars, being interviewed, podcasts online is a great way to get in front of your clients, your ideal clients, because your podcast has got a whole bunch of your people listening to that podcast. And so if the podcaster wants to interview you, then man, that just puts you right in front of them. And there's lots of details under all of this about how to get to where your lead sources are. But those are just some off the top of my head ideas. If you are, I'm just thinking about you, Mary, you might want to look at where these people are, that if we had a conversation, it would be easy to figure this out, but where they are, people who do have money. So as an example, I know that there are a lot of wealthy women who, from the outside looking in, are living a really great life, but they are unhappy and they're looking for that, what's missing in their lives. Usually it's spiritually. Boy, they would be all over it. So then you look at where are they hanging out? What are they reading? Where are they spending their time, online and offline? There's ways of getting in front of them from that, but that's a little bit of a research, especially if you're just starting out. So that is it for now, folks. I just want to say thanks so much for being here. And by the way, What I'd love to do is, let me just put a little link up here. Let me find my link. I was going to offer you guys like a 20-minute little session with me to talk about this more deeply. Here it is. So yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up. And what I'd love to do is offer, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max of my time. Let me put this link here if you want to book it on my calendar. And then I can determine if I can help you, right? That's exactly what we've been talking about. You might be perfect for my Breakthrough Sessions program that's coming up. Maybe my Divine Marketing Mastery, maybe not. Maybe it's something else, but I'd love to be able to get to know you even more and what you're up to and see if there is a way that I can help you. And the other thing is, if any of you would like me to notify you when I am doing other trainings like this, put hashtag training in the comment section below. Put anything you want to put in the comment section below, but just put a hashtag in front of it so I know that you're interested in me notifying you of more trainings. So, guys, I will never forget the first time I rolled out a program so many years ago, and I offered these soul-centered conversations, and it created $200,000 in my business. It totally turned my life around. And now it's your turn to do the same. So big heart hugs, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you in the ethers. Bye, everybody.